Hello, my name is Jessica Casey, and this is my Johnson's Behavioral System Model for Nursing Family Theory presentation for Nurse 714 Family Theory and Health Promotion at UNLV. Johnson's Behavioral System Model was published in 1980. She listed 7 behavioral systems: attachment affiliative subsystem for social interactions, dependency subsystem for the need for approval and the need for help for others, ingestive subsystem for eating and food, eliminative subsystem for excretion, sexual subsystem for sexual behavior, aggressive protective subsystem for defense, achievement subsystem for the need to control the environment. Johnson listed that these 7 systems are needed to be in balance and have stability in order for a patient to be healthy. A patient who is unable to adjust to the environment has imbalance and instability in at least one of these systems. External regulatory forces, such as imposing external regulatory or control mechanisms, change structural components, or fulfill functional requirements, are needed in order to gain homeostasis in these systems. Functional requirements for these systems are the need for protection, nurturance, and stimulation. A patient's drive or goal set is what leads the patient to have a certain behavior. Their choices are the options that they have to achieve those goals, and their actions or behavior are the end result of the choices that they made. Johnson listed 4 assumptions about each of her behavioral systems. Each system is related and structured. Each system and patient seeks homeostasis by changing with the environment. Each system is significant to the patient's life. Each system's homeostasis comes from successfully changing with the environment. Family can be conceptualized based on Johnson's theory as the patient's social influences on each subsystem, either their need for acceptance, dependency on others, cultural expectations, or behaviors that are learned from their social environment. Environment is based on the internal and external influences on a human. The environment directly guides a patient's behavior. Health is a human's attempt to achieve homeostasis based on the internal and external environment. Nursing is the interaction with the patient's behavioral systems in order to achieve homeostasis when the patient's biological system is impacted by illness. Johnson's behavioral systems model allows nurses to understand the importance of social structure and environment on all aspects of behavior. It provides a framework for understanding and assessing maladaptive behaviors and their potential causes. Understanding these frameworks allows nurses to individualize their plans of care for the patient's needs and value the importance of the patient's family environment. Multiple studies and assessment tools have been developed to assess and treat patients based on this model in a wide variety of clinical settings. The 7 systems outline components of behavior to enable nurses to better understand the motivations and influences on their patients. Poster and Belize in 2012 conducted research applying Johnson's behavioral system model in an inpatient adolescent psychiatric unit. They used 4 behavioral categories for 8 behavioral subsystems to assess the patients. 38 patients were assessed over a 12-month period. There was a wide variety of psychological conditions among the patients studied. They assessed the patients at admission and then weekly until discharge. The data was analyzed using t-test scores and descriptive statistics. By implementing Johnson's model for assessment, the behavior became more maladaptive in only 2 out of the 38 patients. Both of these patients had new onset delusions which caused negative impacts on their food intake and increased their need for help with activities of daily living. Improvement occurred in all 8 categories of behavior in 80% of the patients. Patients with eating disorders had no change in behavior and reflected resistance to change according to Poster and Belize. Poster-D and Randall in 1997 conducted a study of 380 patients' medical records using Johnson's behavioral systems model. The 7 behavioral systems were given a 1 through 4 rating for each patient. The 4-point score assessed the health of that behavioral system, with 4 being the most maladaptive behavior. They also assessed the patient's acuity level. A Cronbach alpha score and percent difference from initial assessment to discharge was calculated from the data. 80% of the patients met outcome goals by discharge. The patients had an average improvement of 53% in all 7 behavioral systems. The patients with the most maladaptive behavior showed the most overall improvement in behavior at discharge. They reported that Johnson's model helped guide nursing interventions and overall led to improved patient outcomes. Johnson's behavioral systems model will be important for my future family assessment assignment. It will guide me to assess all 7 subsystems of behavior that Johnson lists, instead of focusing solely on family structure or medical assessments. Her model will provide a basis for assessing interpersonal behaviors in the family. This will provide an assessment that is beyond superficial facts and physical assessment. Multiple studies show that implementing assessment categories based on Johnson's behavioral systems model can help guide nursing care and improve patient outcomes. By improving patients' behavior, we can help them achieve equilibrium with their environment and improve their overall health. Here are the references that I used for my project. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.